Today, Grand Central Station turns 100 years old. To honor the occasion, I spoke with Sam Roberts, the author of a new book on the landmark called Grand Central: How a Train Station Transformed America. Sam, there are train stations and then there's Grand Central. What is it that makes this building so special?
Well, Andrew, when you go anywhere in the world and say Grand Central Station, this place is like Grand Central Station. Everybody knows what you mean. It's the frenzy, it's the bustle, it's the more or less controlled chaos. This place is also a place of firsts. It is where commuting was actually first popularized. It is now the home of the largest commuter railroad in the United States. By one measure, it's the biggest railroad terminal in the world.
Most people walk through here on their way from their train to their job or back home again, never looking up, never taking pictures, that sort of thing. What do most commuters miss about this building?
Well, we kind of take the place for granted. We don't look at everything that's here. We don't look at the history, which is one of the things I discovered in writing the book. Everyone from William Wilgus, the chief engineer who designed the place, to Jackie Onassis, who saved it from destruction as a recognized landmark. We don't look at some of the secrets of the place. You look up at the 25,000 square foot ceiling and might not realize that all the constellations are backwards. You might not look at the train departure boards and realize they are all wrong. They're actually a minute off, which gives you an extra minute to catch your train. Don't blame me if you miss it, but that's generally been true. They don't look at all the bare light bulbs on the chandeliers and say, why are they there? And they're there because the Vanderbilts, when they built this terminal, was showing off that it was all electric.
What are some of the secrets of Grand Central? You pointed out a tile in the ceiling as one thing that so few people would recognize.
That's true. In a very little corner of the ceiling, I guess the northwest corner, there's a rectangle that is almost black. And that shows before and after from when the terminal was renovated in the 1990s. It was black and they thought it was soot and cinders from the locomotives. It turns out to have been tar and nicotine from the smokers in Grand Central. And I'm not sure whether it's coincidental or not, but that rectangle was left right next to the constellation of Cancer the crab. And there's so many iconic things involving the terminal, and I marvel. I love to stand on the balcony overlooking the main concourse and look at this urban ballet, this choreography that takes place. And I have to say, in all the times I've looked, I've never seen people bump into each other.
You had mentioned some of the firsts that Grand Central was responsible for.
The history of air rights as a development tool.
Air rights above the terminal?
Space above the terminal, above property, was monetized for the first time at Grand Central. The civil rights movement, you can make an argument, began at Grand Central, or certainly was nurtured here. A. Philip Randolph and the Sleeping Car Porters Brotherhood. Standard Time in the United States began at Grand Central. The CBS television studios were here.
Can you think of an equivalent to a Grand Central terminal for any other city or any other station?
I really can't. I don't think any other building, any other structure embodies the ascent of the city. Remember when the Vanderbilts built Grand Central, people complained that it was in the middle of nowhere. Why is it so far uptown, all the way on 42nd Street? Well, the Vanderbilts, by building Grand Central, brought Midtown to their doorstep. This building created Midtown, if you will. I know it's very hard for a New Yorker to do this or say this, but take a minute and stop and stand and stare and realize what a great, majestic place this is.
We'll be right back.